Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am still doing my 31 days of horror movie reviews, and we are continuing the Tremors series with Tremors 2, Aftershocks. This is a direct-to-video sequel that came out in 1996, and I know when you hear a direct-to-video sequel, you think, fuck. How much is this movie gonna suck? Well, before I get into that, it is directed by S.S. Wilson. And the plot is we see the character Earl from the previous film, once again played by Fred Ward, who he's still out there doing what he does, for hire. In fact, a couple of guys come to his trailer and say, hey, we need you to do what you did in the first movie. Kill a bunch of these creatures that are still out there, that are going around killing people, and we need to put a stop to it. We're willing to pay you like 50 grand, which doesn't really sound like a lot in retrospect, but who knows? Maybe for where they are, for the time, it's a decent amount. So he decides to do it, and of course, not only are there other giant creatures like the first movie, there are also little baby versions of these creatures that are even worse to deal with. Now, what I thought of Tremors 2 Aftershocks was, surprisingly, this movie did not suck. I was fully expecting for it to suck, not just because it was direct-to-video, and trust me, when you hear direct-to-video, direct-to-DVD nowadays, it's not a good sign. 9 times out of 10, it's not a good sign. They don't really care about quality. They don't really care about writing and consistency, and they just want to shell it out there, slap the name on it, because they know that fans of the original will watch it, no matter what. What I did appreciate is, look, Kevin Bacon wasn't going to come back to this. I don't know if he would have come back if it was a theatrical release, a theatrical sequel. Who knows? But I did like the fact that there is a mention of his character Valentine, that he did go off and marry, I assume, the Rhonda character from the first movie. So they're living happily ever after. In fact, these people who come to Earl and offer him this amount of money, they say that they tried to go to him too, and he said no, he's happy, he's living his life. I like that. I like that they didn't just say, oh yeah, he died off screen. Or, oh yeah, he's a dick now and he doesn't return Earl's calls. Like, no, he's just living a good life. Earl, like I said, played by Fred Ward. I like that they brought that actor back and the character back. At least it makes sense. If you're going to do a sequel without Kevin Bacon, it makes sense to bring this character back. The only issue, and it's not really a major issue, it's just Earl in the first movie wasn't the character that I walked away from saying, I want to see more of that guy. He's actually like the last character that I wanted to see more from. I didn't dislike him. I shouldn't say last. I didn't dislike him. I just didn't think he was all that interesting, especially if you look at Bert, or like I said, Valentine, or even Rhonda was just a more interesting character. And so you see him, and it's slightly interesting that he's just in this trailer. He still does this job. He's all alone. He never married. And it's like, all right, he doesn't have much of anything else. So that's really why he takes this job. But beside that, again, not much else going on. He was fine in the movie. He was, but I guess I just found myself paying more attention, gravitating to other characters around him. Like, for example, Michael Gross. I keep saying Gross. It's probably Gross. He plays Bert. And he was somebody that I was very happy to see back, just because he has this certain amount of energy to him. He had, his wife, I guess, left him, even though he claims she's just visiting her sister. Yeah, right. But still, I like the guy. I like that he was quick to jump in there to fight these creatures again. He was willing to go in there and do what he had to do. Just a straightforward, take care of business type of guy. Also, you had Christopher Garton, who played Grady. He's the one who becomes Earl's partner. I don't want to say he's the new Kevin Bacon type because he's not like that good, but he still had something cool to him. He still had some moments of humor, but also when shit hit the fan, when he did get scared and on edge, he showed that. So he wasn't annoying like I thought originally he was going to be. You see this other character, Kate, played by Helen Shaver, who was fine, but you could tell she was going to eventually, at some point, end up with Fred Ward at some point. Let's talk about these creatures, though. That's what we're here to talk about. I will say this. There is chunks of the movie where it's, I don't want to say slow, but there's not as much creatures going on or not as much attacks on people going on like there was in the first movie. It did take its time, and you could say that's good or bad. But when it did happen, when people did get attacked by creatures, it looked good. It was practical. In fact, it was still PG-13, but you saw some blood, especially one scene where one of the guys is at the window talking to Kate, and he gets taken by the creature, and blood's everywhere, and it looks really gross. But then you get the baby creatures, and this movie pays a lot of attention to the baby creatures. It follows more about how they can't see, they can't hear, but they have this heat vision thing where they could see somebody's heat that radiates off of them. They almost try to explain that. They also explain how they multiply, how if they eat enough food, they spit out like another creature, and they just more and more as it goes along. So there's some lore to them. There's some dissection of the creatures. I don't think I necessarily needed it, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. There was maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 shots maybe of CGI, early CGI, mid-90s CGI, but still you could tell it was CGI. It actually wasn't horrible, but I still very much preferred the practical effects. I still preferred the animatronics or the puppets or whatever they used to make these creatures look natural, look like they were really coming after you and doing stuff. So overall, I think it's a decent sequel. I think budget-wise, they originally wanted to go for $14 million, but the studio was like, nope, here's $4 million. So $4 million, they were able to make this look impressive. They were able to make this movie work. So I give them props. It's a serviceable sequel. I don't think it's great, though. It's not something I'm going to be quick to go back and rewatch. I'd much rather watch the first one because that was a lot of fun. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of Tremors 2. It's not a terrible movie, but did you like it more than I did? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Swimming in beers, I've been through it all, let me trickle a tear. In case you didn't know, I was living sarcastic. A motherfucking monster, something Jurassic. Had to wrap the whole entire bed in plastic. Stuff bitch scared switch, fucking with raptors. Killing and a drilling and I'm sipping on the 4-0. Listen by a whole entire motherfucking torso. Oh, what a rush, sniffing some more blow. Let the bitch bleed and I'm making a porno. I'ma keep it going a few times before I pass out. Wake up in the morning, realize I blacked out.